one.
Commanders at Chiefs. Welcome everyone to Props and Parlays. I'm your host, Andy Lang, being joined, as always, by my fellow props betting expert, Andrew McInnis. We're going to be breaking down the Jaden Daniels Washington Commanders. Nothing screams prime time like when Jaden Daniels is out and Marcus Mariota is in. They're going to be taking on the Chiefs. Andrew, happy Monday. How are you?
Happy Monday, Andy. Looking forward to this game. And, we've had a lot of Mondays together where we've talked about some tight point spreads where it's a game we expect to be wire to wire. Well, based on this number we're seeing, they're not exactly seeing that. So from prop perspective, it's a little bit different for how we approach it. But looking forward to it, man. How was your weekend?
Got eliminated in Survivor, livid at the Bengals. I actually went back because I'm a lunatic. I went back and watched the highlights trying to figure out how we lost that game when you put up 38 points against New York Jets. And there were 2-point conversions. There were running backs throwing to tight end. I mean, it was just it was a miracle, but we lost that. But good for clients. We had another winning week, 6-4 so far. I got one strong best bet up for tonight, so looking for that 7-4 weekend. So can't really complain too much when the bets go well and the clients are happy. So. All right, let's start with...
The only way the Jets were going to get a win, Andy. It's the only way the Jets were going to get a win is just in the craziest fashion ever. I feel bad for you, but yeah, like that.
Finish 1-16. I know it.
They were never going to get a wire-to-wire win. Like they weren't going to be leading all game. It was going to be a weird win like that. So it's tough. It's tough to see.
39 points. Yeah, they hadn't had a first half touchdown since week 1. But whatever, you go down in flames. So here's how we do it, guys. We're going to break down passing props, receiving props, rushing props. We'll go over anytime touchdowns, and then we will build a same game parlay. We'll tell you if this is something that we bet with our own money or if these are just leans that we have. Let's get started with the passing props. Andrew, coming to you first. What do you expect passing-wise in this one?
So this might kind of catch you off guard. It's a little bit contrarian, but I'm going to look towards the over on passing attempts, over 29.5 for Marcus Mariota. This is a situation here where, you have this Kansas City Chiefs team being top 5 against in passing completions allowed and in passing attempts allowed. They do so well against the pass, and they've clamped down defensively on teams. But when you look at a point spread this big, this leads me to believe this number should have been adjusted a bit more than it was as far as the passing attempt number for the Chiefs' opponent. And, of course, the quarterback being Marcus Mariota. So whether it ends up being short dump-offs, whether they're going to have to throw deep towards the end of the game. And the best part about this is that maybe he ends up battling. Maybe Mariota actually shocks people and keeps this somewhat in reach. But I think no matter what, if he's able to do that, it's going to be because he's able to have success and a little bit of success through the air. So I'll tell you what, though, Andy, there's more than a reason why I'm taking the attempts than the completions. Because I don't exactly trust the guy by any means, but I think the volume's going to be there for the attempts. I mean, when you look at this Kansas City defense and you look at the passing attempts and completions, we've got top 10 in passing attempts. Top 10 in passing completions. Last couple games, they were top 5 in passing completions allowed. But this, to me, just sets up for a really good contrarian spot here because I can't see this Commanders team being able to run the ball and establish the run. They're going to have to throw it. So I'm going to kind of go with the team that's expected to lose by double digits and take the quarterback Mariota over 29.5 passing attempts. What do you think?
I have under completions, actually. So this will be an interesting to monitor. Mariota under 18.5 completions, 15 and 16 in his last 2 starts, and the Chiefs only allow 19 completions per game. They've done very good against subpar quarterbacks. That's the other thing, is like when they have a bad quarterback, they tend to beat up on him pretty good. He could easily get over this attempts and under his completions. What a great same game parlay that would be. Completely contrarian.
Yeah, it really could happen.
It absolutely can happen. So I don't know. What's the state of this wide receiving core? Who's healthy? Like, who's going to be 100%? Who's he throwing to? Do the Chiefs run out the clock at the end, or is this a close game? Does this turn into some weird Monday night shootout? There's a lot that goes on, but I just think if Washington is going to compete, they're going to have to figure out how to slow the game down and kind of grind out some clock. And I just don't think it's with Mariota throwing it all over the field. So I don't think he's that accurate. I looked at his stats, and yeah, this guy's 31 years old. This is not the young Mariota running all over the place. We'll get to that in rushing props. But eye test, he has not looked very good. So I will take Mariota under. And shop around. There's some minus 140s out there, minus 145s. Mahomes not to throw an interception. He's gone 2 games in a row without throwing an interception. The last one was that terrible one against Jacksonville. And it was like he made that one throw, and it was like, yeah, he's not going to make a throw that bad for the next 7 games. So I see minus 160 on BetMGM, minus 140 Fanatics, minus 145 on DraftKings, minus 154 Caesars, and then there's other books that have minus 200. So if you want to play it, shop around. If it's too juicy, use it as a parlay piece. But I just don't see Mahomes taking many chances in tonight's game.
It's a good bet. I like that one, Andy. I'll tell you one other one I like here is Mahomes' longest pass completion. It's plain and simple. This Commanders team dead last in the league as far as longest completion given up per game. They're dead last or bottom 5 in a lot of statistics that include their passing defense. So, from where I'm standing, I think that this is a day that we see Mahomes kind of be able to air it out a little bit. The question is, how spread out does the offense become? We can talk about that in a second with the receiving. But you and I were talking pre-show here about, sometimes I like to look at a player, and it's mostly about matchup based and not as much about what they've done lately. There's certain positions and certain times where I want to look towards, okay, this guy's hot right now. This guy's gone over this number in X amount of games. But Mahomes hasn't hit this longest completion in 4 of his last 5 games. But specifically in this matchup against the Commanders, the number is 38.5. I feel like we see a couple deep shots and a couple long shots. And if you look at the chart and some of the heat maps or wherever, certain spots where they give up the most compared to other teams in the league, it's just that go route. It's that straight line pretty much. They get beat. Their corners are horrible. And I can see it happening at least once or twice today where they go for kind of an exciting play. So 38.5, Andy. He's only hit this one in his last 5 games, but I think against this matchup, it's worth looking at.
Shout out if everyone's noticed the sun is creeping through the window and about ready to be directly in my eyes.
You're an angel, Andy. You're an angel.
This is new. If you guys could hit the like button while we're going over this, and please put your favorite bet for tonight in the comments section below. We love seeing same game parlays. Love seeing your favorite props for tonight's game. Leave us a comment, hit that like button if you haven't subscribed to the channel. Go ahead and do that now. We got about 228,000 subscribers. So a lot of fun and tons of breakdown videos, tons of every game breakdown videos. Andrew's on Puck Time. I'll be breaking down NBA videos every game this week. So a lot of great content. Make sure you're subscribed and hit that bell. You get notified when these shows go live. Let's take a look at receiving props. I'll go first. Little obscure. Jeremy McNichols over 11.5 receiving yards. He's gone over in 3 straight games. He's got 12. He's got 30 and 23. I just love these running back numbers where you can get it in one play. And this is just a screen pass or a broken play where he goes for 13 and then you're good to go. So I really like McNichols to get going, especially if there's a hurry-up drill. If they're down, he could get out there, and his usage rate has gone up, and this is a Chiefs team that gives up 31 yards per game to running backs, and he seems to be a guy that's going to garner a lot of interest from Mariota. He went over in the last game that Mariota started, so I like McNichols to go over. What do you like receiving-wise?
And I actually like that one as well. That one caught my eye, and for my attempts, when I was going over the attempts, that was kind of one, that could kind of help if you're looking towards completions under and my attempts over, because let's be honest, they're not going to look for that a million times a game. But for you only need, like you said, one completion potentially to hit that player prop there with a guy that's going to be real close to him, and it's a very, very short number. So I like that one as well. I think I got to go with the obvious one here. I think Rashee Rice receptions. Sometimes you look at the board and you think, okay, this guy here, this guy down the lineup. And I was looking at several of the players for the Chiefs, but when it comes down to it, 10 targets last week against Vegas. And this was a game, Andy, where the starters were pulled off the field. This is this is a team coming off a game that was just very, very easy. And obviously the odds makers are heavily favoring the Chiefs in this one. But this is a Commanders team that if you go down the list at the wide receiver one for a lot of teams that they've faced, they've just absolutely cooked them. It's not like a team where you have to look for, okay, who's the second option? Who's the third option? This is a team that really just seems to get dominated by the number one option on their opponent every single week. So it's worth looking at. I would look towards the receptions for Rashee Rice over 6.5. He had 7 last week, but he did have 10 targets. And I'll tell you what, like I've seen some posts and some fantasy blogs and such talking to Andy about how Marquise Hollywood Brown, his numbers might go down because of Rashee Rice being back. But I still think that, like, for example, his numbers could go down, but I don't think the odds makers have really adjusted much based on the success he's been able to have. Like, if you look at the number here, it's 22.5 or 24.5 now. Like, he's still getting the targets over the last couple of weeks that I don't think it's going to just drastically fall off a cliff. You know, and that's kind of one of those things. Like, I don't think that the way he's used in the depth chart, even though there's multiple other options out there, I think he's still going to be able to get the job done. And this is a guy that you were just talking about, a running back with this, but with Marquise Hollywood Brown, this is a guy that could get this for you in 2 catches. He doesn't necessarily need 6 targets to get over 24.5 receiving yards. Obviously, he can get this in, I would say, 3 targets, if that. So over 24.5 for Hollywood Brown seemed a bit interesting for me. And I wanted your thoughts, Andy, because I was going back and forth in this. And whenever I go back and forth, I always want to run it by you. How would you play Debo today? Because we're talking about McNichols. Like, I mean, I like the attempts for Mariota. Someone's going to have to get the ball here. What are we thinking? Kind of the passing game plan is going to even be for the Commanders here.
It's so up in the air. It's just a pass. I looked and I tried. I was like, don't be the guy that only talks about the Chiefs. But I don't know what you talk about receiving game. I don't know what you're getting from Debo. What's McLaurin gonna do? Is he gonna play? Is this gonna be a last second thing where he doesn't play? Or I have no idea. Nothing would surprise me, and that's the thing. Like, if you're gonna lose a bet, you should be surprised by it. But would it surprise you if Debo went for 100 and a touchdown? No. Would it surprise you went for 2 catches, 11 yards? No. So that's a problem. I really struggle with what to do with these Washington props tonight. So
yeah, like if Scary Terry plays, you got to think they use him, right? Or else they wouldn't play him.
Yeah, and they're kind of like the Ravens. They're like teetering on the edge of their season's over, like Washington is. They can't keep falling, behind it with these, in the win-loss column. Same with the Ravens. So, like, it's kind of like, yeah, they probably should start Terry McLaurin if he's good to go, but I don't know what he's going to look like. It's interesting you brought up Hollywood Brown. I went to Juju Smith-Schuster over 1.5 receptions. He continues to go over. That Hollywood Brown kind of worried me last game where he went under his props. And I was like, see the last one out. But Juju Smith-Schuster, it's only 1.5, so I only need 2 catches. And, actually his catches have gone up. So he went 4, 4, 2, and then 3 in his last 2 games. But, we're talking about all these Chiefs receiver. They're not all going to go over unless Mahomes throws for, a bazillion yards. So it's kind of hard. You kind of have to, you have to tread lightly and almost say, like, which one do I like the most? But I do like the McNichols. I think he gets a couple catches. You get 2 catches from him, you're going over. But even 1, he can go over in this one.
A lot of times we look towards tight ends when we're talking about a new quarterback being put in the picture. Obviously, this isn't a young guy by any means, but maybe Zach Ertz, maybe he's someone that we could target. Is he someone that they'd feel comfortable, getting a couple targets? His number is mid-30s, I believe. I don't know, Andy. Like we said, we're kind of grasping at straws here, trying to find options for the Commanders. But I know you like the under on completion, so I guess I should be the one telling you who's going to get thrown to. But I'm trying to figure out exactly who's going to be the favorited targets here. But we'll find out.
Yeah. Ertz is a safety blanket. He had a big game where, he caught 6 catches, but I watched that. It was like garbage time. Like that's
Yeah.
the thing with Ertz. Like, is he going to be involved in the game plan? Is Mariota going to be good enough, to get him there? Like, if you start him in fantasy, you're just praying for a touchdown because he's probably not getting 8 catches for 80 yards. You're probably looking at 3, maybe 4. So, yeah, Ertz is another one. I don't know what to do with Zach Ertz. So maybe look at under his longest reception. Mariota doesn't throw. It's funny. Like, I wanted to take under Mariota longest reception. They got it like the 20s. Like, it was like they don't. The books are telling you like Mahomes is 38, Mariota's like 28. So, yeah. So, Andrew, you and I are both in play for clients. Tell everyone what you have up.
Yeah, I'm excited, Andy. 5% play for me tonight in NFL action. Monday Night Football here. 18-6 NFL prop run. We had one play on the afternoon slate yesterday and one play on the night slate. We had Breece Hall with rushing yards. He got to that triple-digit number, and we had Jordan Love, and you had that one as well. That's about as easy as it gets in the third quarter. So can't promise tonight's play will be as easy, but we're hoping it can be, and looking forward to it. So you guys can use the promo code SAVE15. Take $15 off my 5% play in the NFL. wt.buzz/am. Once again, guys, 18-6 NFL prop run. Been super low volume with this, but it's working. We're going to stick to it, and this is a big play on a primetime game that really stood out to me. So fired up, and let's keep this run going. Would love to get to 20-6, but knock on wood here. Let's keep it going. And Andy, man, that Jordan Love, we wish they could all be
It's
that
beautiful.
easy.
Oh, it was beautiful. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it's the Jordan Love over his passing, which was in the 230s, and it was one of those where I looked at it and I was like, "Am I missing something?" This Pittsburgh Steelers defense is awful, but no, we both had the correct read on it. Andrew, I've been the opposite. I've been fairly high volume. We had 10 plays yesterday, went 6-4. It's 2 straight weeks with that winning percentage. I could not be happier. My goal was 58, 59% at the beginning of the year. We're almost there. We have one play tonight. I wanted to put a couple in, but now there's just one that sticks out above the rest. So we're going to rock with that one and hopefully get to this 7-4 mark. So that's up at wt.buzz/AL. Let's talk about some rushing props. I'll go first. I mentioned Mario. By the way, Mariota's longest pass is 32.5 tonight. I thought I saw 28.5 yesterday. Maybe that changed, but Marcus Mariota's longest pass is 32.5. I'd take the under on that one. But going to rushing props, I like his under 5.5 rush attempts. He went over against Vegas, but he went under in his next full games against Atlanta. And I checked the game log. He does not run as much as you might think he did recently. I went back to his earlier parts of the career, and he would fly over this total. He used to go over all the time, but that's not the case anymore. He's 31 years old. His last 4 starts, it's 2-2 to this number, and I don't think there's kneel down situations at the end. I don't think they're going to win this game. And this is a Chiefs defense. They control the line of scrimmage, and I don't think they're going to be giving Marcus Mariota a lot of leeway. And when you watched him, he's just not that fast. Like, who's faster in their 30s than they were in their 20s. So I got Mariota under 5.5 rush attempts. What about you?
I'm going to go under Isaiah Pacheco. And I think, people might be shocked by this because the game script should implicate that we're going to see a lead for the Chiefs. We're going to see them up big. And this could be the game for Pacheco to finally get those numbers padded. Number one, who says that the Commanders can't hang around in this game? Andy told us earlier in the show, this is going to be about as desperate of a Commanders team as we're going to get. They could do everything they can to slow this game down, to make it a little bit tighter, and to maybe keep this Chiefs team having to have their foot on the gas pedal. But when you look at this Kansas City Chiefs team, they have been top 3 all year long in passing percentage, in utilization of the pass. They're not running the ball. And at the start of the season, when Andy and I were talking about this Chiefs team, we just slowly started seeing them pretty much abandon the run. It just started to become inexistent. So even though the game script says to us that this should be the ultimate Pacheco game, I'm not buying it. And the good news is if he does break off on one of his attempts for a huge rush, and he does go over his rushing yards number, I don't lose until he hits 13 rushing attempts. So I could be wrong. This could be the breakout game here for him, Andy, but I'm going to go on the other side and just say, just because the script says it's a huge point spread, and they're going to win by a bunch, and so the running game is going to be there. It's still a team that's been passing the ball all year long, refused to run it. And right now, Pacheco's number, I think, is kind of reflecting the game and not as much what he's been doing over the last handful of weeks. So under 12.5 rushing attempts. There's two lines out there. I see 13.5 and 12.5. 12.5, obviously, you're going to get a much better number. So juice tolerance, shop around, get the best price you can. But also, if you can get that 13.5, it'll get you there. So we'll see, Andy. In a dream world, I'd love for this to be one where he goes off with his yards and somehow goes under on his attempts for me.
Well, we have controversy brewing here on props and parlays. I did my write-ups last night, and I like Pacheco over 11.5, and I only see a couple websites that have 11.5 still left. They bumped it up to 12. I agree with your premise that the Chiefs are running, passing the ball a little bit more. To me, the odd man out is Kareem Hunt. He's the guy that I'm looking at fading. In fact, I would look at his under 6.5. Look at his carries the last 4 weeks. He's gone from 13 to 7 to 6 to 4. So I think if you're looking at, hey, who's not running the ball anymore, it's Kareem Hunt. And it makes sense. I mean, the eye test, come on. He did not exactly look like he was a speed demon out there. And again, we got to remember Pacheco had a really bad injury last year. I mean, it was a broken leg, and he came back, looked like a shell of himself, did not look great earlier, but I think he's starting to find his stride. And this is a Chiefs team that's going to need him in the playoffs. We get to the playoffs. It's defense. It's running the ball. The weather's cold. That you can't always air it out. So I think he's starting to settle in. I like his over 11.5. 12.5, I don't know if I get why you would do that. I mean, he could land exactly on 12, and you and I both look like geniuses. But I just, I think Kareem Hunt under 6.5 is actually where I would look to, unless something happens to Pacheco. Just not seeing the carries there for.
That's a good shout, Andy. I like that.
Yeah.
Good idea. Because you know what? Maybe this is the game they feed just one guy. And then even though it's the bigger number for him, maybe he's the guy that gets all the touches. And that's a big thing when you're looking at attempts for running backs. Like if you just if I get a couple from the second option, it's huge for my under, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, 100%. All right, let's look at anytime touchdown scores. I mean, they're telling you a story with Travis Kelce at -110, and I can't be mad at it. Like Andrew, we played 3 tight ends on National Tight End Day to score a touchdown, and we hit 2 of them, but they were at +150. That was the other nice thing. We hit 3 plays yesterday at +150 on our props. 2 of them were tight ends. So it's National Tight End Day or weekend, whatever you want to call it. And you got to believe Travis Kelce probably his farewell tour. Don't you want to get him a touchdown? I think they may go the extra mile to try and get him a tight end. Other than that, good luck picking a Washington Commander. Good luck picking a Washington Commander for this one. Kelsey's the only one, and it's the chalkiest, squarest bet I've given out on the show this year. Travis Kelce to score a touchdown on National Tight End Weekend, but I can't really find another one I like. What about you?
Isaiah Pacheco. This one's kind of 10-1 first touchdown. I can see them just absolutely marching the field, slicing and dicing the Commanders, and then maybe going down at the 1 or 2 and punching it in, getting Pacheco there. 10-1, not bad. But look, I'm gonna just continue to say that I think that when you have a player, no matter what they're coming back from, they're gonna just get fed the ball. And I think if I like Rashee Rice over on his completions, I like him to get a touchdown. So we're not giving anybody out that's in the huge plus by any means, but I think Rice is a guy to look at. And national touchdown weekend day, week of football, whatever it might be, hard to talk you off anything to do with Travis Kelce. And we didn't touch on him with the receiving yards, but that number just was kind of weird to me. Like I could see Travis Kelce having like 70 yards tonight or 22. Like I literally have no clue what to expect from him. So maybe the easy route is to just look towards him getting in the end zone. Let's be real here. The Commanders aren't going to get shut out, or maybe they will. But we talked about Zach Ertz being the safety blanket. Plus 240, kind of intriguing for him to be maybe that touchdown guy for Marcus Mariota.
Agree 100% on that one. He's a reliable red zone target. I would have loved it a lot more if Jane Daniels would have been playing, but honestly, if Jane Daniels, it's probably plus 160, not the
Not
plus
plus
240.
240.
Yeah,
Yeah.
seriously. So, all right, it's time for same game parlay. Andrew and I have not hit one of these long shot ones. Maybe this is the week. All right, here's how it works. I pick 2 legs. Andrew picks 2 legs. We put them all together for a nice, juicy same game parlay. I'll let you go first, Andrew. What's your first leg?
Well, I hope I don't steal anything from you, but I'm just going to throw in Kelsey touchdown. I
I
haven't
love
been
it.
doing a lot of touchdown props or bets on the same game parlays. Look at the spread here. Someone's going to score. They're going to put numbers up on the board. And whether he has a good day with the yardage, I think he's still going to find the end zone. We'll take Travis Kelsey for the same game parlay.
I like Pacheco over his rushing attempts. I'm actually going to go to a little bit of an inflated line. Give me 60-plus rushing yards. That's plus 170 on DraftKings. If he breaks a long one, we're looking pretty good. I like him to get the volume. I think Kareem Hunt is kind of the odd man out right now. So more volume, more yards, and I love that price on Pacheco to have over 60 yards. All right, what's your second leg?
All right. For the second leg, we'll go with Rashee Rice, 70-plus receiving yards.
All right.
If I like the volume, if I like him to get a ton of completions, obviously he's going to rack up those yards as well. We saw 10 targets last week for them, and that was a rather easy game where the starters ended up being pushed off the field. So if that's something that takes place in a game that he got pulled off the field, then let's see what he can do in a full game.
All right. Well, my next one's going to put us to a 25-1 payout here.
All right.
One unit we haven't really talked about is this Chiefs defense. I love them. They're playing so good. Give me the Washington Commanders under 14.5 on their team total. The last 2 home games, the Chiefs have shut out the Raiders, and they held the Lions to 17 points. So we need this Commanders team to either get 2 touchdowns and a 2-point conversion, 2 touchdowns and a field goal. I just think scoring is going to be really, really tough. The Chiefs have looked good on defense, and if this offense gets clicking, you can totally see them running out the clock and dominating time of possession. The Commanders have been battling injury, so that gets us to 25-1. So we're looking at Travis Kelsey anytime touchdown scorer, Pacheco 60-plus rushing, Rashee Rice 70-plus receiving, and the Commanders under 14.5 on their team total. That gets us to 25-1.
This is the one we hit. Last
This
week
has
it was
gotta
like
be it.
7-1. This is the
I
one we
know.
hit. It's 25-1 too. Let's go.
I love it. I love it. All right, there's our same game parlay again. Put in the comments what your same game parlay is or what your favorite prop is for tonight. Tell us if you agree or disagree with anything you've seen on the show. And Andrew, one more time, tell everyone about your best bet that's up tonight.
5% play tonight, guys. Cannot wait for it. 18-6 run with the player props in the NFL. Promo code right there on the screen. Save 15. We'll take $15 off tonight's 5% play. Look, we always preach 7 days, 30 days, full season packages. If you're someone that wants to jump on board for just one play, make sure you use that coupon code SAVE15. Take $15 off. It was a 2-0 day yesterday with the player props. Let's make it a complete 3-0 weekend. Looking forward to it. And Andy, I agree with what you said. And sometimes you're high volume, sometimes you're lower. And if you can hit at that percentage every single week, you'll be one happy man. So you're coming off a winning Sunday and one best bet for you as well. That's right.
Yeah, just one. There was a lot that I liked and leaned, but there was one that kind of stood out above the rest. So I will roll with that one tonight. 6-4 yesterday. 3 of those plays were plus 150. So very, very happy. And that's 2 straight winning weeks that we've guaranteed to lock in. So another winning week, and NFL props have been one of the bright spots for us this year. We've had some really good weeks. We've had some okay weeks. I got to tell you, just to be really honest here. You know what we've avoided so far through week 8 is just that disaster week. That week where you just can't pick one. Now I got eliminated in Survivor, and my pick 5 contest got blown to smithereens this weekend. But props wise, we've been high volume. We haven't had that week where we just really, really decimated. We've been up or we've been about even. So I'm happy with the work that we've done. And with those plus monies, we've guaranteed a winning week for us this week. So, all right, that's going to do it for it.
There's been some teams I just haven't even been involved in. That's what's helped me this year is I've seen some teams where I'm just Like when we were doing the rundowns
Titans.
before on the show and you were like, what are your thoughts? And I was like, pass. I really should have been saying that about like a quarter of the league. And that's what's given me success this season, I think, is that I'm not saying, okay, I like that game, let's find a prop. It's like, no, I don't like anything to do with this team whatsoever. We're going to stay away from you altogether. And that's helped me out a lot.
There's a lot of themes that pop up every single week, just like we're fading this team, we're betting on this guy. There's a lot of the same names that pop up. So thanks very much for watching, guys. Hit the like button on your way out. Good luck on all your plays tonight. Make sure you bet responsibly, and we'll see everyone next week. Take care.